Welcome back to the Cat Cow Intensive. Anatomy of the Cat Cow. I'm Lizzie Lasater. We're here with Mary Richards. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Lizzie.
So, our challenge for you today, Ms. Richards, yoga therapist extraordinaire, self proclaimed anatomy nerd. Can you explain the anatomy of cat cow to us in 5 minutes or less?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let me start the timer and go.
So cat-cow is a fantastic dynamic stretch for the trunk, basically, and it activates the various muscle and fascial systems as well as the joints from really the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. And what it allows us to do is it allows us to work within a very safe, healthy, and for most of us, common range of motion through the vertebral column. And it's like wiping the slate clean. So it's great for countering the effects of sitting or standing for too long.
Which we're all unfortunately doing. I love this sitting, especially. I love this sentence from your notes. The more harmony in the relationships between the spine, the pelvis, and the hip joints, the less likely we are to experience back pain. How does cat cow create harmony?
Well, so we're using the core stabilization systems to move the vertebral column through its typical range of motion. Okay, we're primarily working with flexion and extension, which are our primary, if you will, movements in our day. Of course, we turn as well, but the root movements are really, flex, extend. And by mobilizing ourselves from our hip joints all the way up to the base of the skull, we are activating all of these systems that are governing our body's relationship with gravity. Because everything is about stabilizing the pelvis and the trunk in relationship to the movements of the limbs in the context of gravity.
And so interesting, I have learned from you that happy lower back free of pain is really about these relationships between the spine and the pelvis, between the spine and the sacrum and the pelvis, and the hip joints, which is the pelvis and the femurs.
Yeah, because see, the primary axis, AXIS, of movement in the body is the hip, right and left hips. Okay. There's a reason why those are ball and socket joints, multi-axial diarthroses, because they can move really in tremendous range in many different directions and in different directions at the same time. You take a leg out from the midline into abduction and it will externally rotate. And so the hip axis is where our movement is, that's really where our movement arises. And the sacrum is the body's rudder. So if we want to have free and easy movement, stable movement, well-shaped movement, we really need to be organized around the pelvis, and we need to be strong in the hips with a great relationship between the thighs and the hip sockets, a great relationship between the sacrum and the hip bones, the ilia, and then we need to be able to take the load out of the low back into the big bones of the pelvis and the thighs so that we are actually using our bones and our large muscle systems to our advantage rather than moving from these, smaller joints and more vulnerable connective tissue systems around our low back.
Rapid fire. What is lazy glute syndrome and how does cat cow help?
Lazy glute syndrome means you're not using your glute max enough. Your butt is not working for you. It needs to lead the way. Gluteus maximus is the locomotion engine of the body. Okay. And what cat cow can help us do is it helps us find the rhythmic relationship, the natural, passive, rhythmic relationship between the low back, the pelvis, and the hips.
Okay, I'm going to throw out a few last terms. It mobilizes the shoulder joints, cat cow. It is a free organ massage. It helps with balance and it mobilizes the rib cage to maintain freedom of breath. Last words, Mary. You've got 29 seconds.
Okay, so how it helps the shoulders is we're rotating the scapulae, the shoulder blades over and around the heads of the fixed arms. Okay, helps free up your shoulders. And we're moving into flexion and extension. So we're articulating the thoracic spine and the rib cage. That's going to help loosen up all the accessory muscles and the primary muscles of breathing. And that's huge. And then what was the other thing?
Well, your time is up.
I think I caught it all, didn't I?
You caught it all. As always, Mary, we are so impressed, so delighted. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.